G'day traders, Mindset Reset today, focusing on what if you could only take one great trade setup. And we spoke about that in some other videos, but today I'm really going to challenge you to identify your one highest probability best trade setup, know all the parameters of how that one setup sets up, and then we're going to look at seeing how many times you can find that over multiple pairs in a week. Some of these setups may come at certain times outside of your window, and so then the question is maybe perhaps you're not going to be able to trade those setups because you're not available, or maybe you are available but you're not at the screen. So maybe you need to identify how you could set alerts to give you the awareness that there's obviously a setup that's coming, or it's setting up right now. Even though it's not in your specific window for trading, it may actually be an ideal best trade candidate. Traders have emailed me and said, can you give an example of a best trade setup? Well, there's several different types of best trade setups. Trend trades, reversal trades, trading ranges, and narrowing that down, taking out the ones that maybe perhaps where you don't trade as well, or maybe it's hard for you to trade because it's counterintuitive. So for example, a reversal trade for some traders is hard to trade, but a reversal trade on a shorter time frame can be a trend trade on a longer time frame. And so again, matching up the criteria that what I look for in my best trade setups are, as I've talked about, level 3 weeks, high of the month, low of the month, high of the week, low of the week, where the market has moved 3 levels. And sometimes those can be trend trades because the move 3 levels is a counter trend day in maybe a monthly trend. So, but it's important. And so if you can identify your highest, most profitable, highest possibility explosive trade, and then be able to identify that 2 to 3 times a week, or even just once or twice a week. Now, certain trade setups I think you can find every single day if you know how and when to look for them in terms of timings, how they set up, knowing, if you're following maybe all the majors, NASDAQ, oil, gold, some other pairs, whatever you're following in terms of, your spreads and your broker, all that sort of thing. And then be able to filter out those pairs quickly over the course of maybe, for me, again, being in Perth, we have Asia, London, New York. So we have 3 opportunities perhaps, but obviously as the day evolves, Northern Hemisphere traders sometimes have the opportunity for some of the larger moves because the entire day is now set up with the high and the low, and a lot of the explosive moves, for example, on NASDAQ are in the New York session for obvious reasons. But sometimes we can get high of the week, low of the week, in the middle of the week, and they can come in the London or Asian session. Beginning of the week, we can get Asia triggering weekly highs and lows, putting in peak formations. But my point is that if you can really peel back the onion and follow or narrow that, know your best trade setup, the one that really is your highest probability opportunity, and then develop the ability to find that, whether you use EAs, scripts, discretionary, it could be very easy to identify, because maybe, again, if they're trend trades, for example, you may get a high of the day trade for a short trending market on the daily, for example. So market goes up and gives you a sell high opportunity. It's actually a trend trade, even though it's counterintuitive on the shorter time frames during the day. Those sorts of situations. But again, if you can identify your best trade setup, the one that really is your home run, and then figure out how many opportunities that trade setup gives you in a week over multiple pairs, and then focus on building that trade setup in as your main focus for the week. And then if you have your other smaller opportunity trade setups, again, it's all about cultivating the highest probability opportunities in your favor and the setups, rather than going there and trying to trade 2 or 3 instruments and trade them every day, trade the movement every day. Go there looking for your best setups on any instrument. Once you know your instruments, your spreads, your margins, all that sort of thing, and then execute flawlessly, and then put the profits into your bank account. So hopefully that helps, traders. Identify the best setups. Figure out how you can find those and narrow your focus down to the ones that are going to give you the home runs. Don't worry about scalping pips and everything else, and go there to get your best setups. Figure out how many times a week they happen, how you're going to be able to identify them in terms of availability, your session timings, all that sort of information, and then execute flawlessly and stick to only trading those and knock it out of the park. Have a great trading session today, and may the markets go with you.